This video will change your perspective on weight loss forever by highlighting the #1 way you increase stress and make your emotional eating worse. Watch on and I'll not only reveal what this thing is, but teach you how to fix it so you can lose weight and end dieting for good. First off, let me ask you, which one of these sounds more exciting? I hate myself, I'm not happy, my life is ruled by feeling judged, and I need to lose weight to fix this all. Or, I love myself, I'm confident and happy in who I am, but I want to lose weight because I value seeking health improving goals. No doubt, you're gonna choose the second one. Most people start weight loss from a place of hate, and without knowing it, create huge stress and overwhelm in their lives, setting themselves up for failure. Over the next few minutes, I'm gonna go over why most people unknowingly create stress in their lives, plus how to fix it. First, let me ask you a question. If you were to build a house, would you do it on poor foundations? And if you did build that house, how long would it last? How stable would it be? You need to approach weight loss the same, with solid foundations. And that means starting from a place of loving yourself and having unconditional self-worth. Otherwise, your weight loss journey will fail over and over again, which if you're watching, I can imagine has happened to you before. So that's why having a poor strategy for fulfilling self-worth is the #1 way you end up making your emotional eating worse. If your self-worth relies on external things, plus is both unpredictable and unreliable, then it will inevitably end up stressing you out. So to define it, self-worth is the internal sense of being good enough and worthy of love and belonging from others. It's your inherent value as a person, independent of achievements, circumstances, or external validation. However, as with many things in life, it's very easy to learn a poor strategy to fulfill self-worth. You learn self-worth from an early age, and this is a common example of how it develops. As a baby, you have unconditional love from your parents. You can do no wrong. After about a year, you become responsible for your behaviour. Love goes from unconditional to conditional. Your behaviour is only accepted if you're performing to your parents' expectations. So, for example, tidy up and I'll give you attention. Eat your dinner and I'll praise you. If you behave well, you can have dessert. To you as the child, love becomes, I'm loved and accepted not on who I am, but the condition that I make my parents happy. And that becomes a belief. This isn't, of course, true, but you as the child perceive it this way. So then you can end up with loads of unhelpful behaviours and habits in adulthood that are learned unconsciously and you don't know why you have them. Things like perfectionism to avoid being judged, procrastination to avoid proving yourself right that you might not be good enough, social withdrawal to avoid being judged, people pleasing to avoid being judged, and of course, changing how you look, buying new clothes, losing weight, and even cosmetic surgery. So what happens is that you develop this outside-in approach to self-worth, which means your worth is dependent on achievement and acceptance from others outside of you. So there's this negative push based on the avoidance of being judged. You don't feel worthy unless certain conditions are met. So your self-worth is conditional. But oh my God, this is so tiring. Changing your behavior takes a lot of energy. Plus, seeking acceptance and avoiding judgment all the time takes a lot of extra work, which leads to huge stress and overwhelm in your life. And how have you probably trained your brain to release stress? Through eating nice food, of course. So you get cravings, eat, and end up sabotaging your weight loss progress and probably feel even more stressed now because you undermine your personal integrity and ruined your weight loss results. So things like perfectionism, people-pleasing, and body dissatisfaction are symptoms of low self-worth. And as with anything, we want to fix the root cause for best results. So you need to fix the self-worth issue rather than the symptoms that come from it, because otherwise they will always return. Just like if you were to go to the doctor and they gave you painkillers for a brain tumour, the pain would come back as soon as they wear off because you won't have fixed the cause of the pain. In a moment, I'm going to explain what unconditional self-worth is and how to create it. But first, what are the benefits of having unconditional self-worth for weight loss? When you approach your weight loss from a place of love and unconditional self-worth, you drop the need to have it as fast as possible. So you stop doing fad diets that don't work long term. You stop emotionally reacting to the scale, and so stop sabotaging your results. Plus, most of all, you get rid of all the behaviours like perfectionism, people-pleasing, and procrastination, which lead to huge stress and overwhelm and cause you to emotionally eat. So it's like turning off the tap to stress. Doesn't that sound great? And this has huge implications for your weight loss. You can now proceed with more clarity, energy, and are able to chase the weight loss for the goal without emotion attached. Your motivation comes purely from your goal because you eliminate the need to prove yourself or make up for something you don't have. You change the reason you're chasing it, and this makes a huge difference. So what does unconditional self-worth look like, and how can you create it? Have you ever looked at a mountain, standing tall and unbothered by external factors? Just like the mountain, your inherent value as a human never changes. It's there regardless what happens in your life. Clouds come and go. Achievements, failures, and external opinions are like the clouds. They come and go, but they don't define the mountain. Similarly, they don't define your worth as a person. The mountain is always there. Even when the clouds are thick, the mountain is still there, hidden but not gone. This represents the truth that your worth is always present, even if you don't always feel it. This is unconditional self-worth. It's about deciding to develop a new relationship with yourself and means changing the strategy you use to get your worth that was installed as a child from the outside world to your inside world. So keep watching, because now I'm going to give you the 3 simple steps to create this new self-worth, plus teach you some questions you can ask yourself to become super self-aware. First of all, you have to start with a belief that my self-worth is never in question. And know that self-worth is a skill. It's something that you do rather than you have. And skills need practice, right? So these are the 3 steps to develop unconditional self-worth and love for yourself. Number 1 is self-awareness to notice unhelpful behaviours. Number 2 is becoming aware of your core values and the behaviours you want to have instead. And number 3 is developing self-acceptance to free up space to live in alignment with those values. And it involves working on yourself as a person to cultivate these things. So let me teach you how to develop self-awareness. Start by asking yourself some questions about your life or journal those experiences. These questions could be, for example, am I doing this behavior to avoid judgment, criticism, or to be accepted? Did I actually need to do this thing? If I didn't do the behavior, what feelings or emotions would come up? Are they around judgment, criticism, or being accepted? Do I beat myself up over mistakes I make? Am I trying to change myself to feel happy? Did I do this to live in alignment with who I am as a person, or just to fit in? Did any of these behaviors come from the feeling of not being good enough, from not believing in myself, comparing myself to others, or seeking approval? So for example, did you say yes to someone because you felt like you had to? Did you feel like yes was the only option because you would have felt like they might criticize you or say something bad about you otherwise? Then you may not be enforcing your boundaries. You end up taking on too much, stressing yourself out, and needing a release through food. You need to do the inner work to identify these things, then have the courage to back it up with physical action in your life. This means showing up in life and knowing and enforcing your boundaries, doing what you think is right, speaking up when you need to, and of course, living in alignment with your values. And you have to take action so that you give yourself the evidence to believe the internal changes you've made and decided on. I'm sure you've tried to make yourself believe something in the past and struggled. For example, saying, I'm confident in the mirror. That's because you need to give your brain the evidence. That's the doing part as well as the thinking part. And that leads me to step 2 of building your self-worth, your values, which are your heart's deepest desires of how you want to behave as a human being. And if you're not currently consciously aware of your values, you can use this quick exercise to bring them to the surface. Pick an area of your life, or just choose life as a whole, and ask yourself, what's important to me about life, or whatever you picked, for example, relationships or career? List out all the things, and then ask, what else is important to me about life? List out all those things, and then keep repeating the question, what else is important to me about life? Keep going until you have at least 50 to 20 words on your list, and then scan through that list and pick out the top 3 to 5. These should be the values that drive you. For me, it's health, freedom, and connection. And now you're ready for step 3, the final step, self-acceptance, to free up space and to live in alignment with those values. Imagine you're in a tug of war with a powerful monster. This monster represents your difficult thoughts, emotions, or painful experiences. The more you pull and struggle against the monster, the more entrenched you become. You waste energy and the monster doesn't budge. Acceptance is about dropping the rope. It doesn't mean you like the monster or want it there. It's about acknowledging its presence and choosing to focus your energy, moving in the direction of your values, even in the monster's presence. So self-acceptance is about letting your thoughts and feelings be there without trying to push them away or change them. By accepting your thoughts and feelings, you create space to focus on your values and what truly matters to you. These 3 steps combined with practice is what starts to build innate, unconditional self-worth that is never in question. So now let me know in the comments if I've shown you how to identify lack of self-worth and build that unconditional self-worth. And if you found this video helpful, I think you should consider watching this one next.